after backing Kaepernick and all that stuff. But I think people don't realize that this is the next logical step to kneeling.
Getting a seat at the table and all that jazz.
Yeah, that's my opinion on it. You know what I mean?
That's
I
fine.
understand people being outraged about it, but you can't kneel during the national anthem for 10, 20 years, you know what I mean? You need someone to be able to speak for us.
That's
Ooh, I
fair.
came in at
I
the
think the
right
biggest
Hey, Marcus,
time.
perfect
yes, you
timing.
surely
I
did.
came at the
You
right
surely did.
It's
time.
especially because we just got started. What's going on, good people
Ooh.
of the internet? We are here live for Blerd Grounds. It's an amazing show where we, as African American nerds, sit here and talk about the stuff that we care about, whether it be comics, video games, anime. Which, ironically, we're talking about anime today. Well, partially. Well, in the news section. Next week we'll talk fully about anime. But we are here talking about the stuff that we care about. My name is James Portis. Above me, I'm not used to this setup. I'm used to saying to my left all the damn time. Above me, we have the doctor who chose to be the lazy doctor today, Mr. Aaron Jones. How you doing today?
Very relaxed.
There you
Very
go.
relaxed.
You need to take some
That's what
R&R
happens when you take the
occasionally.
day off. Oh yeah, definitely need it.
All right, all
Glad
right.
to be here.
And then the man who came in right at the perfect time was wondering if he was dead, but he is here. Marcus, how you doing, sir?
What up, y'all? I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain.
All right, all right. And then under him, we have Philly the Kid embodied himself. Travis, how you doing?
Pretty damn good, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Nice and chilled out, had a nice shower, which is something Philly don't do.
that's the truth. Okay, okay. And then don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Blerd Grounds. Don't forget to follow the website on Comics Ground at Twitter and Instagram at on Comics Ground. And check out our website on comicsground.com, hyphens between those words, every day for the latest reviews and articles. We had Travis put out a great piece this week about some drama that's going on in Batman comic books that we will be talking about Saturday on Panel to Panel. And then the big announcement that we semi made on Panel to Panel Twitter today, but that was just for Panel to Panel section of it. But we, as a collective, as all of the On Comics Ground / Shoot the Breeze Media podcasts, are officially on iTunes, officially on Google Play, officially on Stitcher, and officially on Spotify for you to pull up on your phones and listen to us on the go. And starting September 1st, that will be exclusively where you will be able to find us. We have chosen to fully switch over from Twitch to these services, and we will be here for the next 2 weeks, so please come hang out with us live as we do this. But we will be switching this show to Fridays starting September 1st for you to check us out as we enjoy all of this nerdy content. So we are going to get into some news that like we'll have a little bit of a news section. Like now that we're getting into our flow and whatnot, we'll have a little bit of a news section, and then we'll get into the main topic of the evening, which is the whole reason why I bought this hat. But y'all can't see that. But if you pull up my Twitter at James C. Portis 3, you'll see my hat. But that I spent $30 on, and I have no qualms about that. But we're gonna get so Marcus, you wanted to talk about this first thing. It's perfect that you're here. So there's been some drama afoot in the spider community. Would you like to give us some background, sir?
Yeah, pretty much two jerks couldn't come to an agreement, and now we're all screwed.
Ooh. That's a very blunt way to describe the situation. Would you like to elaborate?
Basically, I'm
Yeah,
mad at everybody.
right. Like, no, to be really honest with you, I don't care as much as I thought. Like, I honestly don't care. Like, like it's too much to worry about. Like, there's more stuff out there that I can be interested in than worrying about what these people do. But long story short, Disney, after Far From Home reached $1 billion, Disney reached out to Sony and was like, "Hey, we'd like a bigger piece of the cut for helping you out with Spider-Man." And instead of Sony offering a counter offer or just saying like, "What else can we do?" they just said nope and walked away from the deal.
Yup. See, yes, that was my biggest thing, was that like Sony didn't even try to come back to the table and put something else out there. They just said, "Nah, we done, son." Like,
But let's be real. Do you think the reps from Disney approached them all humbly and like, oh, excuse us, but we did such a good job. Do you think? I'm pretty sure they approached them like the assholes that they are. Oh, can we cuss? I'm sorry.
Oh no, you fine. You fine.
Oh yeah, like the motherfucking
Oh
assholes
my
that
God.
they
Oh
are.
my God. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. But no. See, I don't think it went down like that. I feel like Disney probably was like, "Hey, look, all we making is 5% on opening weekend and merchandising. You making everything else off the back of the universe that we have established." Like, see, I came up to the table and was like, "Look, I went like 10 or 25%. I'm not gonna ask for 50 because y'all,
Right.
like that. Not only is y'all already about to collapse as it is with Spider-Verse being the only thing y'all got going on right now, because
Right.
but at the same time, we're not gonna just beat you over the head with that fact. But at the same time, is like we could just buy you, but we're not gonna do that because we don't want to seem like a monopoly. So we'll play ball." Like I don't know.
So what I heard is that so Sony, in the creation of like the two MCU Spider-Man movies, they paid the full cost of what it took to make it, but
Yep.
creatively, Feige was a huge producer and made a lot of that happen. The thing is that they came and said, not necessarily that we want half of all of that, all of the money, but we want now to share in the cost, and then take a little bit more of that opening day, but keep merchandising and stuff like that. So that's what I heard, is that they said like, we'll pay 50 and then you give us like 30.
See, that
Give
makes a
us
lot of
30
sense.
back. And then they just didn't reply. And also, I've heard that Feige had been basically helping them on every movie,
Yep.
like in the like the back scenes, and not getting any credit for it. And of course, the moments when he was helping when it wasn't a part of the MCU, like, yeah, I'm not going to give you the full force of what I can make this do, but I'm gonna try to not have you kill Spider-Man again. And I'm sure there are plenty of things that they didn't listen to.
More than
And
likely.
so, like, once he got his full hands on things, that's when he perfected it. And as well, when people mention Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, it'll be fine because Sony did well on that. But like, what I hear as well is that they're two separate entities. Like, the people that do the movies,
Right.
like the actual films, like the films, and the animation is completely separate. So it would kill it. Like, they're gonna fuck it up. Like,
Yep.
that's what they're gonna do. If we leave them to their own devices, because this does not belong to them. And a big part of why Spider-Man was good, not just because it was a good Spider-Man movie, and yes, that I believe that, but also because it's the part of the larger universe where it belongs. It's home where it belongs.
See,
And
I disagree. Go ahead, finish your point. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, like,
you just pulled
disagree if you
Kanye
like.
on some serious shit. I disagree.
I'll
But
let
go
you
finish.
finish. I'll let you finish.
But you're wrong.
My bad,
I
Joe.
think that's what's made it great. And I think they will fuck it up because they don't really understand it fully, and they're gonna put all these crazy things together, like they're making Morbius, and just all like Silver Sable. Like, who cares, honestly?
Who
Maybe there's
cares
someone
about
that cares.
a Silver Sable Black Cat movie?
I think they canceled that movie.
Yeah, they canceled
I'm-
that, but we're
my
still
mind is
getting a
blown.
Morbius movie, and there's still talks of a Craven movie, and I'm just like,
Morbius needs to be canceled. Too. Nobody wants to see that.
Craven.
Wild.
But Joe, I feel where you're coming from. I just slightly disagree because I feel like the thing, like, and this is like a minor nitpick, because both Spider-Man movies are great. But if there's a nitpick I can make, is I think it was a little too connected to the MCU. If you knew you had a tenuous agreement with the company that has the rights to Spider-Man, why would you ingrain him so deeply into the MCU?
because I figured they had it in the
Because
bag.
because they knew they were gonna make $1 billion. Like,
$1 billion.
them being complete idiots and saying, "Oh, never mind." Who can anticipate that? Like, who can expect for that to happen?
Because Spider-Man arguably the biggest superhero, the most popular superhero in the world, arguably, and he could carry a film franchise by himself. It's already been proven
multiple times.
I just didn't think it was necessary to have him be so connected to Iron Man and so connected.
Maybe he
to
doesn't
the
need to
Avengers.
be Iron Man Jr. Maybe he doesn't need to be
Agreed.
Iron Man Jr.
Right.
Agreed.
He doesn't need to be an Avenger just yet. So I think Sony has some things they could work with if they're willing to be patient, and that's a big if.
That's fair. Like,
but if they don't have the things that have already been built by these last two movies, what the hell do they have?
and that was my thing too. Because here's the thing, like, and like I'll go into more in depth about my feelings, like probably next week on Living on the Edge. But my biggest issue with this is we've already done like the best meme that was able to be shown. Like, granted, the memes in general have been great. But the meme that spoke to the multiple versions of the meme that's spoken to me the most is like a random person like being pissed off and walking away like, man, I can't do nothing anymore. Like, man, I don't want to die again. Like, it feels like Uncle Ben is about to like is the perfect like explanation of what's going on. I don't want to have to die again. Is like we've had two movies.
Oh, yeah, please don't.
Like we've had two movies. And a callback, like we're like, oh, we May's been through a lot lately in Homecoming. Like you've spanked the Spider-Man origin horse so much that there's nothing left to do. So now, granted, there is not everything. Like you even can go back to my Far From Home and Homecoming review on Living on the Edge about this. Like, I don't agree with a lot that's happening at Homecoming, like them taking Miles Morales' best friend and giving it to Peter. Ned Leeds. I mean Gank. But like the entire situation in general, you've got to reinvent the wheel sometimes. So them and like Aaron's kind of right in the regard of like they really didn't think Sony was gonna be like this. It's $1 billion. That's a lot of money. So like they figured it was good.
All right.
Okay.
To be fair about the $1 billion though, like it would have definitely benefited them to at least have more Spider-Man related stuff.
Exactly.
Because of how tentative their relationship is.
Yes. Fair. Because like the entire situation like now where it like you have this whole thing at the end of Far From Home. Spoilers, everybody. The end of Far From Home, where Peter has to go into hiding now because of what's been revealed. Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen in Sony's version of that?
I think is gonna happen. I think if they do end up they can't use the MCU stuff. I think they're gonna probably put in a pretty big time jump.
Yep.
That's what I think they're gonna do.
Yep.
I could use adult
to just
Spider-Man.
Ignore it completely. That would be stupid.
That would be your only ticket through
before.
it, though. That's the worst part.
Yeah, they've done stupid stuff before, though. Remember Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Remember Andrew Garfield, period?
He wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad.
Teen Vogue Spider-Man.
I will still say that Andrew Garfield pretty much had the nailings down of like Spider-Man, but he was a horrible Peter.
If they had a better director and screenwriter, he would still be Spider-Man today. I don't think they would have ever replaced him.
That's fair.
I hate that level of truth.
This entire situation is bullcrap. We are still now. Granted, everyone's like, "Oh, there's still a chance. There's still a chance that we can like move forward and like get things going." But I'm like, and now there's all this drama with like Stan Lee's daughter coming back in the picture and be like, yeah, "Disney and Marvel treated my father like crap." But then like all these reports saying that you were abusing your father, and it's like,
you treated your father like crap.
Why we don't know what's real, so we're just gonna like move away from this topic. So because all of it is speculation and hearsay. So
I want to add one last thing.
Go for it.
Possibly could. Honestly, what's going to change situations like this is we just stop going to see these damn movies.
Hey,
people, if the movie doesn't look good, do not go see it.
That was me with Venom. I refused to buy a ticket. I even freaking because here in the U.S. we have Marcos, and Marcos bought out Family Video and said if you order a pizza you get a free movie. So I was like, cool. I'll just use this to watch Venom for Living on the Edge. I wasn't supporting this shit. You had got me out your goddamn mind. I ain't giving this thing my buddy, and yet now we're getting a sequel because all the Chinese folks and everyone liked it.
I'm guilty. I saw it.
Aaron!
I just saw it. I wanted to see it though.
Oh, you traitors!
They tricked me. They tricked all of us. And the movie that I saw was not the movie that was in the trailer. And it's like the opposite. It's like the opposite of what happened with Batman v Superman. It's like they showed us everything and everything the movie was going to be about in the trailer, and then there was no surprises in the actual movie. This, they like showed us little bits and pieces, and we thought it was going to be serious, thought it was going to be horror, and then we get
it was a romantic comedy.
and
I've seen worse movies.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of movies. That's why it doesn't matter. It's still terrible. But it could have been so much better.
Before we start tonight's festivities, can I bring up one news item, please?
Sure. I mean, we got one more news item besides that, but go ahead.
Oh, never mind. Then I think we're talking about the same thing. Never mind.
Is it Cannon Busters?
Oh no, it's not.
Oh, what's yours then? Because I have Cannon Busters next, but go ahead.
I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on the Avengers game trailer because holy shit.
Okay.
Which one? A-Day?
The A-Day one.
Yes, the 18 minutes of footage that. Well, I know people could have seen the leaked version already, but I was being patient, so I just waited.
Travis.
And
I have not seen it. I'm actually pulling it up right. Oh my god, 18 minutes?
Yeah, it goes through the entire opening of the game.
We're gonna skip forward.
I saw it at Comic-Con, and
oh yeah, that's right. You did go. Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Jones, that's dope.
So how did you feel about it? Like when you were there, like seeing it and whatnot.
It was kind of like an extended oh my god moment. And I was like, oh, like I've been retired from games for a long time. I was like, damn, is this the one?
Come on home,
I don't know.
Jones, come on home.
I don't know if this is the one to bring me out of retirement, but yeah, it's pretty dope.
All right. See, for me, the Thor combat, everyone's saying it's like God of War 4, and well, of course, not only did they keep recalling back the hammer, but God of War 4 was based on Norse mythologies. They probably stole a couple mechanics from it, and there's a lot of similarities from Sony's Spider-Man game. Which was another big thing, was the fact that Sony bought Insomniac. There's probably more Spider-Man games, but I was very worried, and I said this in the group chat. I was very worried that Black Widow was just gonna be Flight Simulator with her just in the cockpit going, "Hi guys, I'm not really there." I was really worried they were gonna put her in the back seat and not worry about her. But then she actually did have combat, and I love how every version of Black Widow since Avengers just loves to jump on big shit and put herself in danger. First it was the Chitauri ship, then it was climbing on Hulk's back for a ride, and now it's her flying on Taskmaster's jetpack.
I'm watching that as we speak.
Her part was the highlight of the demo to me. She had the dopest scene.
Yes, that was very much for me.
Right. And it makes me wonder, since she's fighting Taskmaster and she has an important role in the game, at least in that level, and the game drops in May, I wonder if they did that purposely because of the Black Widow movie coming
I thought about that, actually, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
But I had my concerns, too, because the initial demo from Comic-Con, there was no gameplay, and the game has been in development for 2 or 3 years. I was worried. I was like, do they know what they're doing? The character models look so ugly. They're still kind of ugly. Thor looks like Gerard Butler.
See, everyone keeps saying Thor look ugly. What did you expect? Super long hair and all this shit. Leave Thor alone. I feel leave Britney alone, dude. Leave Thor alone.
Well, his gameplay looks tight too. His gameplay and Black Widow's gameplay were my favorite parts of the demo.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Their
Iron Man
faces
looks
are a
like
little weird,
John.
but
Iron Man looks like John Krasinski from A Quiet Place.
Oh my gosh. I'm done.
you're killing me.
But
But
Oh god.
But the gameplay looks fun. It looks
does.
awesome. I'm still a little worried about how they're gonna do like all this downloadable stuff. Is it gonna interfere with the single player? Because I'm a single player guy. I don't do much multiplayer.
See, I think what's gonna happen is like they're gonna do it the same way Ultimate Alliance is doing DLC, or where like which is how it's done in the past with like 2 and 1, where like it just plugs the content in, or like how a lot of open world games do, where. Or like how Spider-Man PS4 did, where they'll just plug the DLC in, and like if you want to go over to that side of the map and do that DLC, cool. If not, cool. Like that kind of situation. Because like
Okay, that'd be cool.
Because like I know a lot of open world games recently have been like, hey, at this level you can access this DLC and shit like that. So that's probably what my logic was. I'm just at a point where I'm kind of salty. And I even said this on panel Dependent and Living on the Edge, where it's like I was salty about them not trying to be more diverse with their Avengers lineup and just banking off the movie. And also, where's my brother Hawkeye? But besides
he got shafted. Well, I know they're gonna have a lot of free downloadable characters, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
But I'm kind of on the same boat as you, James. I was worried at first, but that gameplay demo kind of solved all of that for me, and
Same.
I pre-ordered it, so I'm ready for it.
I'm not gonna pre-order
Right.
it. I'm not gonna pre-order it just yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. But it's like I am going to pre-order it. I'm just gonna hold off
Right.
until like I see like some T'Challa gameplay, or like I see what is going to be available as DLC, because like. And also, I think what's also bugging me is I don't like that Deadpool is voicing Iron Man. Like, because Nolan North, well, granted, Nolan North also voices Superboy and Young Justice and Superman, but, like, also, it's just, I don't like that he just sounds like Deadpool in an Iron Man suit, and I'm just like, ugh, can you not? Now, granted, Troy Baker as Bruce Banner actually sounds kind of intriguing. I'm not used to that kind of depth from him, so yay, but, like, oh, go ahead.
Speaking of Hulk, I just loved him punting like bad guys into the distance. That was
That was
Yeah.
freaking funny. But,
Sorry. Go ahead.
no, go for it.
This game for me, I'm honestly pretty excited, but probably not for the same reason you guys are. It feels like because I don't know, you guys have been playing a lot of superhero games or superhero games throughout the years, and it all kind of feels like a bunch of like great games thrown into one game.
I could see that. I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, because like I'm watching this Hulk footage and it looks like a more realistic, gritty, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That game was fire, man. Where you could just grab a car by the axles and make boxing gloves.
Yep.
Man. And so I'm like, it's same thing with the Thor. It really looks like God of War. What I'm like truly excited for is the Captain America combat.
Yes,
it looks
amazing.
like a lot like Arkham type of stuff, and that's what I'm excited for. Like that whole like counter fight with a rhythm, dodge around type of stuff, but with Cap's shield and Cap's skills. Man,
That's gonna be freaking amazing.
And we can all agree he's not dead, right?
He's not dead. Like they wouldn't put all the time and effort into building a kit for him in terms of like fighting and combat and shit just to kill him.
Right.
He gonna walk out with the beard in like the third act, like how he did in Endgame, and be like, "What's up? How y'all doing?" Like it's just what's gonna happen.
Get this man a shield.
Pretty much.
But thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me add that in there, guys. Thank you.
And then before we get into our main topic of the evening, we also want to give like initial thoughts. Next week we'll probably derail our entire episode lineup we've had because I didn't expect this anime to come out of left field. I'm mad. I didn't know this anime was coming to an existence. I didn't know. I wish I would have known about the original Kickstarter for the manga and now the anime. Like, if I would have known that Cannon Busters was a thing, I would have been on the hype train from day One, because for those who don't know, LaShawn Thomas, the creator of the show, was a character designer for the Boondocks, Black Dynamite, and a bunch of different shows, and wanted to create a anime featuring brown characters. And he went through the effort of creating this, launched the campaign back in 2005. It has been his ongoing project, and Netflix picked it up as an anime in 2016, and we're finally getting it this past week. And it's 12 episodes. It's very short, but it's digestible, and so many people are craving more. And I definitely agree. Like this thing has so many different like influences, from just basic Gundam stuff to Cowboy Bebop to Samurai Champloo. Like there's so much here for anyone to enjoy. And I'm only on episode 3, but for Travis, for someone who has binged all 12 episodes because he's a fiend, how do you feel the Cannon Busters?
To not sugarcoat it at all, I fucking love it. Honestly, like, don't get me wrong, it's not in like my, okay, no, it is in my pantheon. I am kind of fanboying it pretty hard, but
Okay.
The reason why I'm fanboying it pretty hard is because it takes a lot of specific anime tropes and flips them in a manner that is very different than what we've seen.
Okay.
Like for example, you got like Philly the Kid, who's your pretty dumbass, brash, rough protagonist. And in those moments in a lot of anime, they normally just get their ass kicked, whereas Philly straight up dies. Like,
Yep.
Every time. And it's so good. Every time he dies, it's for something just ridiculous, and like he learns from it. Sometimes he's intentionally learning from it. Like when he like goes to shoot Nine and Nine just cuts his arm off. He goes, "All right, I can do this now," you know? So I'm in love with it, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to shut up now because I can go forever.
All right, we will get more into it next week. But Marcus, have you gotten a chance to pick the series at all?
I have not got a chance to watch it yet.
Oh, horrible. But from what you've heard and seen, and also that really fire theme song that I keep listening to on repeat, and that's my ringtone now. What are your initial thoughts? Like, are you wanting to get into this?
Well, from what you're saying, it seems pretty interesting. We don't really see too many animes that have a lot of people of color in it, so that's a pretty cool premise right there. Honestly, I've never really been that much into anime outside of Dragon Ball Z. I think that's the typical for a lot of black people that haven't really gotten into anime, but they like Dragon Ball Z. I kind of fall into that boat. So, but this seems like it might be something that kind of gets me deeper into it. So it might be something it probably will be something I'll check out.
Okay. Aaron, you said you like a couple of the episodes. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I've dipped the toe in, and like I like it so far. I watched a couple episodes, and like it has these highlights of folks that are obviously of color, but it's not heavy-handed. It's not like beating you over the head with, yeah, all right, we got people of color in here. Like, no, it's just a part of the
It
show.
seems like more the community's doing that rather than the show, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like that. Like, I just want, like, kind of our idea, or, you know, one of the main reasons why I'm a part of On Common Ground is because we're here to normalize this, right?
Yep.
Like, we want it to be normal to have folks that are from the LGBT community, or for there to be Black and Native and Latinx and all kinds of other folks in these stories, because those are our stories.
Yep.
And so I think it's cool so far, and I'm looking forward to how the story progresses, and it's fun. It's also for me, I'm always like thinking ahead. Like, I'm like, that's interesting. Like, what does that mean, or what's that going to mean later? And like, so I'm intrigued.
All right. And then, like I said, I'm like, from the jump, I saw this announcement and was like, okay, why is Black Twitter going insane? And then I sit down and look at this, and I'm like, oh, this looks really interesting. And there actually are black voice actors and black characters, and there's actual, like, depth to the show. Because, now granted, if you come on this hype train because you see blackness, that is nothing wrong with that. You come on the show and you enjoy it, you love it, but then you dig into it, and you really sit down and you begin to love the story from, like, the beginning. When you first, like, they first blow into Balloon Town, you start loving what's going on. And then I think this sounds corny because this is another show that's anime-esque. It's one of those, like, anime lights that was created by Americans. The 2011 reboot of Thundercats gave me a lot of the same vibes in terms of the kingdom element of, like, magic coming back and trying to, like, destroy civilization. So I definitely love what's going on, and once I finish this by next week, we're gonna have so much to talk about. Like, oh my god! So definitely stay tuned for that. Those are our initial thoughts on Cannon Busters, the newest Netflix exclusive anime. So if you got your girlfriend's Netflix and you want to check this out, definitely check it out. All right, so. Hey, you know there are them folks, like, freaking Disney is trying to coordinate with a tech company to help stop people from sharing streaming passwords. So
They
look,
would.
yeah, look out for that in November when you want to get Disney Plus, because apparently Disney's trying to stop you sharing.
I'm good. I got my own account, so, like, it's all the people who are connected to my accounts. Sucks for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm that guy who everyone uses their account, so my Netflix recommendations are all ruined.
That's why they had the multiple profiles, my G. I don't want nobody on my shit.
I used them up.
Oh, that sucks. You got that many people
Netflix,
on your shit?
Yeah,
Netflix went down, like, the number of, like, accounts that you can have.
Well, because there's, like, 2 for the 12 and then, like, 5 for the 15. That's what I think it is. Like that many users, I think. I don't know.
I think
Free does it for the people.
Yeah, he out there helping the community.
I'm too nice.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into our main topic of the evening. This is our first character spotlight episode, and we are here talking about the reason why I bought a $30 hat that's normally $60 because New Era is expensive, and I don't understand why. Victor Stone, a.k.a. Cyborg. DC Comics is, I guess, I hate that this is the thing that, like, he is technically the token black member of the Justice League for a lot of folks because of what is going on, like the perception ever since 2011. But at the same time, he has been a character that has had so much growth and so much public exposure ever since the Teen Titans TV show in 2001, 2, something like that. I think see, now I'm gonna get mad at myself if I don't look it up, because I have every other thing on my notes besides that, and I'm gonna get mad. 2003, I was horribly wrong, but 2003 was when that show premiered. So for those who don't know, we're going to dig into some history, and then we're going to have a little bit of discussion. That's how every one of these character spotlight episodes will work. We'll have... I know you are not charging your Switch while we are talking about this.
No, I actually just turned it off.
You've been exposed! But for those who don't know... See, if I can't play Marvel Ultimate Alliance, you can't either. But
I don't have Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Joke's on you.
Oh! But no, for those who don't know a lot about this, and for those like interested, for every one of our character spotlight episodes, we're gonna have like one more comic one, like in a few weeks, because originally it was gonna be Blade, but I might divert that and make it about Riri Williams, because like I'm writing a piece about her, and I might try to do an accompaniment, but but that might be a thing, I don't know, but it will be a Marvel character, so keep that in mind, and we might save Blade for when Blade's coming out. So each episode we'll talk about some history, and then we'll dig into some discussion about the characters. So Cyborg, aka Victor Stone, was created in 1980 by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Well, not George Perez. George Perez was the artist on New Teen Titans, but it was created by Marv Wolfman in 1980. And DC Comics presents number 26 as like one of the multiple stories in an anthology issue. And it got his whole origin about how he was in a tragic accident, like in his father's lab. His father rebuilt him And actually no, that was the second origin. The original origin was attacked by a villain who was going after his father for helping Superman, and he had to be rebuilt, which is modern technology at the time. It wasn't like we just had a mother box lying around like how the more modern origin has portrayed ever since 2011. But we had the original origin where he was just built to be half machine, half man, which was how a lot of science fiction was back then. And well, my notes. Okay, cool. Yeah. Soon after his creation in the same year, we had him join the Teen Titans as a part of Marv Wolfman and George Perez's relaunch of the series. Because originally, when Teen Titans was first created, it was just Robin, Wonder Girl, Aqualad, Speedy, and Kid Flash. But then when they relaunched it, they added Starfire, they added Beast Boy, Raven, and Cyborg, which is that more iconic lineup that a lot of people know, but it still had more of the sidekicks involved, like Robin, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, and whatnot. So that's why when the 2003 show came out, and I had to wait multiple seasons to see my children, and not just Robin, I got annoyed. But there's that. And as time went on, Victor had like a lot of development. At first, he was just this character that struggled with his identity, because not only when you're half robot, you're struggling with the idea of you being human, but like that's always been a trend with Vic, and as many incarnations as he's ever had, where he struggles with the idea of being still human. And going into it with that, there's like all the things that went on where he's on all these adventures, meeting all these different villains, growing in relationship with Beast Boy. As time goes on, like Beast Boy has been the most iconic character to have a partnership with Cyborg, whether it be in solo adventures, whether it be on different teams. He's always there having his back, especially when in late 80s, early 90s, when a giant alien spaceship comes to Earth called the Technodrome. And it sounds like something from Ninja Turtles. Comes to Earth and wants to enslave all of humanity with robot technology, but Cyborg goes onto the ship and defeats it, but also becomes the new host of the Technodrome and becomes Cyberion, a full cybernetic being. And it just like. Comics are weird, guys. You just gotta get.
Yeah, that sounds very strange.
And he was still trying to be part of the Titans at the time, and it was just weird. But then, as time went on, he found like the ability to not be this weird red robot. As he had became as Cyberion, he was able to create a more human-looking body for when he wasn't being a superhero. But then around like late 90s, he went on an adventure with Wally West, who became the Flash at the time, and regained his more, like, I guess, iconic look of him being more half machine and man, and got his body back, which comics are weird. I don't remember. It's been so long since I read that issue. I think it was something to do with a magic villain. That's why it was able to be like, hey, you're not a full robot anymore. You're half man, half robot now. Like, comics are weird, guys. But from there, like if you want to go back and read any of these, they're like Marv Wolfman and George Perez's run on Teen Titans has been collected like in multiple volumes on Amazon. They're not that expensive, so definitely check those out if you want to read like more like old school Teen Titans and Titans books. It definitely has old school comic writing to them, so please be prepared for that. Like, it's definitely hard, especially because, and there's that argument of like a lot of people say that black folks haven't ever been in control of their own story. It definitely feels like at times that a white person is writing Cyborg, but Marv Wolfman is definitely one of those people similar to Stan Lee, where he definitely wanted to create more diverse characters. So you kind of like. Good job, Marv! which is definitely one of those things that we appreciate. Like, people actually caring about our community and wanting to create more stuff for us. But in today's day and age, we need more people in charge of their stories. Is that a fair argument?
I think that's a very fair argument.
Okay, cool. So from there, we go into the early 2000s, where Jeff Johns' Teen Titans is relaunched. Both Starfire and Cyborg and Beast, not both. The three of them, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Starfire, all start a new team of Teen Titans with some of the younger members like Tim Drake, Robin, Kid Flash, Bart Allen, Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark, and Superboy, Connor Kent, like going on new adventures. They save Raven from the Brother Blood clan. They start like trying to recruit more heroes because at the time people were going out killing sidekicks. They were trying to actually like create a more safe place for them to develop their powers and be the heroes they want to one day idolize. And Jeff Johns' Teen Titans is one of the most iconic runs you'll ever read. It definitely shows Cyborg as more of a leader because he's like 30 as a member of the Teen Titans, which is hilarious. But he's also as a mentor figure, so he's seen as more of like the den mother in a way. And him just leading this team is very inspiring because you see him have like come so far from the original run. Like this character that was so beaten down, hated his father for turning him into a monster, but then elevating himself to being the hero that he wants to be is amazing. Like, there's this funny scene where he's all taken apart and cleaning all of his parts, and someone walks into his room, and they're just like, ah, like he's just all in different pieces across the room, and he opens his eye and is like, oh hi, let me put myself back together, and it's so cool. And you go further into the team, like the run, and Cry for Justice happens, which. I have a soft spot for Cry for Justice, but a lot of people hate Cry for Justice, so I'll leave that one up to you to go find on Comixology when you have time. But after that run, you saw Donna Troy, Wonder Woman, and Nightwing, all these people who had been Teen Titans for so many years, ask Vic to join the Justice League. And he did that right as the universe is being rebooted, and we have the new origin for Cyborg as he joins the Justice League as a full-fledged member from the beginning. He has no affiliation with the Teen Titans. He is now officially from the Justice League from like high school age onward, where you see him with his new origin, similar to his original, where he has beef with his father for not coming to his football games, not being supportive. And you see him come into the lab and have an argument and hits the mother box and explosion occurs, and like his father uses the mother box to heal him. Like if you see that from Justice League, you'll see that, or even in Young Justice recently, and he becomes the more iconic, more machine-looking Cyborg that we know today. And you go through
a brief interlude real quick.
Sure.
Something that annoys me, and it's small, but it annoys me.
Okay.
On Young Justice, the guy doing the voice, I don't believe him. Like I don't.
Oh, like the newer voice actor for Cyborg.
Yeah, like just his outbursts. Like I just
honestly,
it's too much.
I like his outburst. Like I like his anger because you're so used to Kari Payton just like autopiloting Cyborg that you're like it's a refreshing thing. I don't know. Like
I'm not mad. I'm not upset that he's angry, but I'm upset at the way it sounds. It just sounds weird to me.
Okay.
You never come to my thing. And like he just like is the way he's saying it is just like
there was talent scouts. Like I can see what you mean.
Like someone should be directing him to like tone it down just a notch, but like still keep the passion there. But like I don't know. It might be just me, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, and like that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I've definitely enjoyed Zena Robinson as like this new, because there's this whole like behind the scenes thing of him being chosen to be the new Cyborg, and Kari Payton going, yeah, I like this kid. Like it's one of those moments that kind of is really cool. But we'll talk about all the media stuff towards the end. But one thing I just totally forgot was, in Flashpoint Paradox, which was this brief interlude as DC was readying to reboot their entire universe, Jeff Johns wrote Cyborg as like the premier superhero of the DC universe in this parallel world. Superman never came and became the superhero that everyone loved, so Cyborg is like the hero that the president calls when something goes wrong, and like all this stuff. So it definitely showed that there was an intent to elevate Cyborg's profile before they rebooted the universe and made him part of the Justice League. Like there's this really cool cover that, you know how in a lot of Superman covers they have the pull open the shirt and show that the symbol. You have the same thing with Cyborg where he opens the shirt even though he's already a cyborg, and like he shows the C symbol, which it's kind of goofy, but I appreciate it. Like that's just me. I don't know. I feel like I'm just nerding out constantly, and then I'm sorry, I like this man's but like you go into the New 52, and a lot of people say this is the more token era of Cyborg, where a lot of people say he was only brought on to the team to make it not as white as it appears, because you have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, all these people that are just white, and you have Cyborg who's brought onto the team. That's why everyone's like, why don't you have Jon Stewart? Which is like that media osmosis from the TV show sinking in a little bit. But that argument is also put on the table a lot. But this is one of the discussion topics for later. But how have y'all felt about the sort of like token perception of Cyborg?
Well, I think it goes back to what you were saying. They kind of telegraphed their intentions for Cyborg with the Flashpoint miniseries, him being the biggest superhero. I don't think it was John's intention to make him seem token. I think he wanted to raise his profile. But I think he did the character a disservice in trying to do that by separating him from his Teen Titans history.
Yeah. Okay, Aaron, how do you feel about this? Like you being a teacher and whatnot, has anyone ever like talked about Cyborg in terms of perception?
I feel like yes, he is often kind of the add-on, or the moments when he does get to be the focal point. I do love it because he's often played in a way where he can make some things happen. He's smart, and that should override some of the other stereotypical ways that he's used, or the stereotypical part of his origin, the fact that he was an athlete and he felt so defeated because he can't be an athlete or feel in the way that he usually could because he's part machine. But I think that as well kind of makes him interesting too, that he had to deal with that, but he now has to kind of more rely on his smarts. And I mentioned in a previous episode about how I thought it was awesome that he was the focal point of that like Lego movie.
Yes.
And he he's the reason why they win in the end and everything. But like he's not really on the cover. Like he's there, but he's kind of like in the back. And it's mostly about him. Like he is definitely the main character, although Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all of them are in it as well. But it's really about him. So like I feel like he has this way that he's used that both like he's in the background, but also he's the one that saves the day if he's there. I also really love the way that he's used on Doom Patrol. I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
We were going to. Yes.
But yeah, Doom Patrol, he is awesome. The actor does really well. And like the emotional moments doesn't seem like it's over the top. Like we could talk all day about Doom Patrol and how awesome it is.
We might have to at some point.
It is. Because it is so awesome.
It is.
I love that show. I think it's probably one of the best
comic book shows. Period.
DC. Yeah. It's up. It's high. It's
most
up
definitely.
And yeah, I love the way that he's used on that show as well.
Okay, Travis, you got any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, Cyborg, for me, I guess he was kind of always really obtuse, because my exposure to him was through the cartoons of the Teen Titans, and then later Teen Titans Go and the movies and such. But pretty recently I read his 12-issue miniseries with David F. Walker, and man, he wasn't very obtuse after that. Like it was right around, I want to say issue 7 or 8, where he meets his mom's like AI and just everything just like melts for him.
Yep.
That's about where I was like, okay, I think I understand him a lot better now. Because it did a lot to humanize him and take him out of that like tokenized space.
Yes. Okay. So from there we will move forward, and like one of the bigger issues that like during Jeff Johns' time on Justice League was that Cyborg was a lot of the time just used as like a taxi service because of like the boom tube, because of him being so interwoven with fourth world technology, with the mother boxes and all that stuff, because the mother boxes and everything, the fourth world being created by Jack Kirby. It's definitely seen as a thing of him just there to teleport and watch the watchtower, so that emphasizes the token aspects even more. But then when Forever Evil, one of the major arcs of Jeff Johns' Justice League, came around, and a different version of Cyborg came from another Earth called Grid, it's become like sort of that like iconic villain that everyone uses in almost every form of like multimedia when it comes to Cyborg, whether Grid is added to him as a sentient, as like an AI, like how in Doom Patrol, whether he's like randomly included in Injustice 2. Like, it's just, they constantly keep using him as like this evil version of Cyborg that drained all of his humanity away and was only used as like the robot version of him to become the perfect form. But then literally Grid rips himself off of Cyborg and becomes this new like villain, and then Cyborg has to literally crawl his ass back to Star Labs and rebuild himself like a new body, and it ends up being more human than tech. It's really cool, which is what like the form that he ends up like resembling in David F. Walker's Cyborg run. So you go into that, and with DCU, which was DC's version of trying to make more inclusive stories and trying to make more impactful stories, but also like half the Justice League was gone at the time, so they were trying to create more stories. You see David F. Walker's run kick off, which I love the run to death, but because it's so short, because DC Rebirth was beginning to kick off at the time, you had him tell this super epic story about like interdimensional like technology coming to Earth and trying to take over everything and turn everyone into like zombies and stuff. It's so extreme in a small amount of time, and there's no chance to build a status quo. So it's almost similar to Black Panther, where like the movie, where someone like David F. Walker just kicks off all cylinders and just goes, "We're going everything right now." Like he throws in the Metal Man, he throws in all these characters to have influence with Cyborg in a small amount of time. It's a really good run. I have to encourage like anyone, like Travis, can you recommend it as well? Like where like it's so good in a small like dose to give you into the character. Travis, where'd you go?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a really good take on him. It was short, and like for someone like me, I'm not really into Cyborg, not even close to the amount that James is, but it was a great like humanizing of him, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. There's like if you go into the character, it shows you that while everything is being turned into technology zombies around him, that he ends up seeing the humanity in himself. So it's so good. I know, like, not only am I a Cyborg fan, I'm a David F. Walker fan. Like, if anyone hasn't read Bitterroot yet, you totally should, because, like, the second volume's coming soon.
Yep.
Yes. The fall.
We're probably going to have to do a Bitterroot spotlight when that book comes back out. So definitely stay tuned for that. I promise this won't just be a black comic show. We'll talk about other stuff soon. But, like, we even have some really cool things coming for the winter. We're excited about that. But going into DC Rebirth, which was DC's attempt to be like, hey guys, we're not all dark and gritty and serious, and we actually care about legacy and good stuff in comics. We're sorry, like we'll fix it, and then now everything's going downhill again. But DC Rebirth was this initiative to bring back the iconography and the legacy of the universe in their comic books, and with that we saw like a very like not expected writer come to Cyborg in a new bi-weekly series. John Semper Jr., one of the executive producers of the 90s Spider-Man the Animated Series, came on to write like this character, which is amazing that an African-American creator got to write this series. And I think it's like, even though I love David F. Walker's run to death, like for what it was, I love what John Semper Jr. gets to do in certain points of this run, where like Vic goes to a jazz club and meets this blind old man who tells him that even though I can't see you, I see the humanity in you, and like it impacts him so greatly that it ends up doing a lot more for him. And this repeated thing for Vic of having to deal with the humanity because of him, like the technology being so ingrained in him, especially with the Mother Box version of him that's been more recent, being so much more tech than like the original version, it ends up having a strain on him constantly. So it definitely gets repetitive, but you understand that, like similar to Batman's parents or Superman being from another world, like Peter's like uncle and stuff like that, those crutches end up impacting them the most, so you understand it. And the run definitely adds a lot to the character. Like they create like a cyborg woman that ends up being a villain. You have Grid, who tries to come back but then is shut down very quickly, thank God. You have all like this villain who ends up being a version of Cyborg's father from a different dimension, or actually a different timeline, that is fully cybernetic and is trying to take over like Cyborg to enslave humanity. And I don't know why the common thing is to keep doing interdimensional or different time frames, technological like overhaul, like enslavement to like tell Cyborg stories, but it works. And it ends up being this overarching villain, and they start giving him a full rogues gallery of characters and stuff. Like they even threw one Firestorm, like a robot villain in there as well, and started like giving him more. And he ends up being this major hero in Detroit, like his hometown, and like actually like building a niche for himself. But then the run is cut short, and you don't get to see what happens. And it was that we were told that it was canceled. And then Marv Wolfman came on and did like 3 issues, but then it was never solicited for the rest of the issues on Marv Wolfman coming back to the character, and we haven't seen anything in about a year and a half. And it's very sad to see that this occur. I have wanted more of Cyborg for so long, but now we have him on Justice League Odyssey as like the leader of the team, and after this week's issue, where it's on this giant cliffhanger that Jessica Cruz might be dead and Darkseid has enslaved the rest of the team. It's very weird. Marcus, you were reviewing Justice League Odyssey up until recently. What is
sir.
What can you say about Cyborg's like representation in that series?
I think it's safe to say that he's on that book because they don't have anything to do.
Damn. Explain.
I didn't read the preceding event, like the No Justice. I didn't read any of that. I guess that's his motivation for being on the team and going to the what is it called? Not the Source Wall. What is that space called that they're in?
I forget.
I forget what it's called too. It's not the Negative Zone. That's
It's
Marvel.
like the Forgotten Space or something like that.
I forgot what it's called. But the Ghost Sector. There.
The Ghost Sector. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I was not going to get that.
Right. So I just feel like it's he's just forgotten there. They're all forgotten. They're just, let's throw all these characters that are loved but aren't really the top tier, and let's put them together. And then throw deep powered Darkseid in there who's not as cool, and let's see what happens. Now the storyline, like you said, is Darkseid getting his power back, and I guess spoiler alert to everybody listening, but Jessica Cruz isn't dead. They spoiled these solicitations already spoiled that she's coming back in like a few issues.
See, that's one thing I can't stand about solicitations is that like it spoils everything.
Right. So she's not dead, and I kind of feel like everybody kind of felt that way because I did not see any outrage after the latest issue. I think people pretty much knew that she was coming back. But just going back to your point about Cyborg, like I think they're kind of giving him an interesting role as he's being made into a new god, if that makes sense. But I don't know how long that's going to last. And it's just the design of him is not very interesting. Just the really story leading up to it wasn't very interesting. I mean, and that book's been dogged. Like I think that book was doomed from the start with all the developmental, the behind the scenes issues it had.
You were like they had to rewrite the first 2 issues and redraw all the artwork for it.
Right. The team, and then the creative team left like a couple issues in. Like, that book. I'm surprised it hasn't been canceled, to be honest with you.
Well, it's good that it's still here, but I definitely agree that when your team is Azrael, Cyborg, Starfire, and Jessica Cruz, and a depowered Darkseid, it's definitely one of those books. I thought it was DC trying to like copy Marvel's Ultimates, #BringBack Ultimates, but like where like they want to have like a super powerful team in space, like fighting space problems, but it hasn't been that. And like
they're not really that powerful because number one, Jessica Cruz's power has been low since like the first issue.
Oh.
And that's actually why she dies in that issue because her ring finally runs out. Cyborg and Azrael and Starfire kind of have this like crippling self-doubt that sticks with them since like issue 1, and it's kind of made them really heavy. And then there's just something about the ghost sector that kind of activates some power within all of them. It's just really I'm trying to think of the word, like overly complicated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I honestly think Azrael has no business in space.
Oh, he really doesn't.
You don't want to see Azrael be a badass in space?
No, I'd rather see Batman on ice.
Oh Lord.
And that kind of what you're saying, Travis, makes sense because the way that it's explained how Azrael, Cyborg, and Starfire are actually like new gods. It's so like contrived
and convoluted for no reason.
Right, like super comic booky to the point where it's like,
not even.
Are we
good?
back in the 90s?
Right,
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then for like. Obviously, we've already talked about a few of them. We have Kari Payton, that has been like the most premier voice actor to voice Cyborg ever since like the Teen Titans show in 2003. Like he is the one that really coined the booyah that everyone loves to death. That to the point that everyone wanted it to be in Justice League, but then was disappointed at the one booyah you got. And I was like, I don't even need this booyah, but like y'all can be happy now. But everyone's like, no, it wasn't enough. I'm like, no, it was simple and it was small, and y'all couldn't appreciate it.
I think it was well placed.
Yeah, it did what it needed to do.
It was like booyah, like that was clean, like ugh. But yeah, Ray Fisher was great in Justice League. I hate that the Cyborg solo movie is stuck in development and probably won't happen. But definitely go support him on Twitch. He's a Twitch streamer now. But
yeah, that movie's not coming out.
It breaks my heart. I really want him to like actually be out there. But the original voice actor, surprisingly enough, who voiced Cyborg on Super Friends and the Justice League Superhero Hour, was in fact Ernie Hudson of famed Ghostbusters. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's actually my first exposure to Cyborg was Super Friends. I know I'm kind of dating myself when I say that.
Yep, Ernie Hudson was the first voice actor to voice Cyborg, and it's insane.
I'm like, who's this black robot guy? He looks kind of cool.
Yep. So everyone makes the cracks about Black Vulcan, but like, nah, Cyborg was there, and it was really dope. Yeah. So like that was like his first Justice League-ish role, but no, it's really cool that he was there. And then the first live action interpretation of Cyborg was Lee Thompson Young. Rest in peace, my brother.
Rest in peace.
Yes, like Anyone who needs to talk to somebody, please call the National Suicide Hotline. He was the one who portrayed Cyborg on Smallville. He was on multiple episodes, like his first episode where he was helped escape from Star Labs and like be on his own. He came back for the Justice League crossovers they had, where Green Arrow put together his own little league. And there was the one episode where he had a goatee, and it was weird because he was doing a different show. but they put him in that silver hoodie on a TV screen. So, good job, Lee. We appreciate you. We miss you. Hashtag Jet Jackson for life.
Yeah, man.
The silver hoodie really throws me off, man.
I still want that hoodie, man. Like, say what you will about that hoodie, like the hood is garbage, but the actual hoodie itself, I want that hoodie just to be on my shelf. Like, here you go, you exist. Like, cause it looks so cool and you love it, but then you look at when he puts the hood up and you're just like, who cut that hoodie out? Like, who cut that fabric? That square is horrible.
Yo, that hood is bad though. It looks like an old school 1920s football helmet.
It does. Like, I don't know who cut that fabric out, but you needed to be fired, my friend. Like, no. Oh, like, it just not like and they were like, oh, he's Cyborg, but like under the skin, they put the robotic parts under his skin. Like, okay, you want a budget, I understand.
Translation, we're cheap.
Yeah, right. But to be fair, the power that Lee put into the role was so good that you appreciated it. Like not only in his first episode where he's trying to get back to his high school sweetheart and whatnot, like, hey, I'm not dead. Hey, I'm a robot, but we can still make it work, kind of thing. And then he comes back on the Justice League episode. He's like, and Clark's like, hey, what happened to you and what's her face? He's like, She couldn't make the robot thing work, man. But it's alright. Like, Oliver found me and we doing some good stuff. I'm like, okay, I see what you did there. So, and like him and Aquaman have like this buddy cop thing going on. That's really cool. So like me as the Cyborg and the Aquaman geek, it's like, yeah. But and like also the other. The other more iconic voice actor and all the Lego properties that Kari Payton doesn't do, and a couple of the movies have been Bumper Robinson, who also voices Falcon on Avengers Assemble, for anyone who needs a reference, and the voice actor who has been voicing Cyborg in like every Justice League New 52 movie for the past few years has been who I had it open and then I closed it to look up the voice actor, not the voice actor, the actor for Doom Patrol, but Shamar Moore has been the voice actor for Justice League movies like Justice League War.
Really?
Yes, he's been the one.
Really?
Ever since Justice League War, he was the one who's been voicing him in like Death of Superman, Justice League versus Teen Titans. He's come back for every last one of them.
Nice. Keep cashing them checks, Shamar.
Right? He is the light-skinnedest.
And
right.
Then the other like surprising voice actor was that Michael B. Jordan, aka Killmonger, voiced Cyborg in the Flashpoint Paradox adaptation, where he was the premier superhero of the DC universe.
I've seen that too. I didn't even notice.
Yup.
What?
See, look, now you gotta go back and watch.
Right?
I gotta go back and watch this shit because
it was way better than the comic.
Yep, like they definitely changed a lot about the comic. Like Thomas Wayne doesn't stab Reverse Flash with a sword; he just shoots him. Like there's a lot of a lot of stuff like that.
There's no Martha Wayne Joker.
Yep, there's no Martha Wayne Joker, which is really freaking creepy. And then the other thing that I totally missed was that well, I shouldn't have. No, I did all my notes. I did good. And then the other two recent interpretations, like Mark, what was it? Marcus that didn't like Young Justice Cyborg? I'm like, were you the one that weren't convinced by
me?
It was
me.
That was Aaron. I'm sorry.
It was me.
I'm like jumping around here and losing track of what I'm doing. But yes, the voice actor. Where'd it go? I had it. Where'd it go? Zeno Robinson, who has been voicing him on Young Justice. I feel like he isn't being used to his full potential yet, but hopefully in season 4, because we have been greenlit for season 4 of Young Justice. He will get some more to do. I've liked the more black metal version of Cyborg that like they've put on there, like the more like darker metal. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
When you
I
said
do
black
like the
metal, I
design.
was thinking like Metallica or something.
Oh,
That is not black metal.
yeah, you got Travis the metalhead who will correct you like perfectly on that shit.
No, so call me out on my ignorance, please.
I'm gonna show you in the chat. It's the dudes that wear the corpse paint with the hyper black eyes, like demon kiss makeup. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I see.
That's black metal. The guys that
yeah.
made Church Burning famous.
Oh
Okay.
damn.
And then we've had Jovi and Wade on Doom Patrol, which has been really cool. It's been a return to the more like just robot parts version of Cyborg, not the Mother Box version of Cyborg, and him struggling to feel as if he might be a freak like the rest of the Doom Patrol, that like one of the Chief's little side projects. Like, it's very intriguing. Also, Grid being forced to be in the background as his AI assistant has been kind of weird, but like, because you know it's gonna bite him in the ass later. But definitely watch Doom Patrol because it's one of the best comic book TV shows ever made.
Most definitely. James, what do you like more? Who do you like more? Ray Fisher Cyborg or Jovi and Wade Cyborg? Yes, I knew this would cause a dilemma.
See,
Yes.
see, here's the thing, like, I appreciate the Silas versus. Actually, let me correct myself. Let me throw a reference in here. I appreciate the Martian Manhunter versus Cyborg battles that happen on Doom Patrol, because for those who don't know, the guy who plays Silas Stone on Doom Patrol played Martian Manhunter on Smallville. So that's a cute little reference. So you got Martian Manhunter versus Cyborg on Doom Patrol. I like that back and forth, similarly to how I like it on Young Justice or just in comics in general, because you don't really get to see, like it's very brief, because they kind of just jump straight into the Justice League stuff, like him battling with his father. His dad's like, "Come on, man, we can help you," and like I want your help. Like in Justice League, it's very brief. But also, I like, and the thing is, I was bitching and moaning about Doom Patrol when it was coming out, because I was like, brother, we can so tell that like you're purposely wearing these tracksuits because so you don't have to wear the whole cyborg getup. like
on a budget.
It's definitely on a budget. It ain't Smallville bad, but I can tell you wearing them tracksuits for a reason. Like that's what annoyed me. But at the same time, like, I understand the criticisms of too much CGI in the Justice League movie, so I kind of wish they would have gotten to that really clean, stylized, like C on the chest that you see at the end of the movie faster. Like maybe mid-movie had him in the more like superhero look rather than the full like crystallized robotic look you see in the movie. But I in terms of acting quality, I think Ray Fisher is a little bit better because you see the more struggle of the man versus machine more. So there's parts I like about both. I can't really decide, but like in terms of nostalgia, Lee Thompson Young wins. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Ray Fisher had more presence, and you could kind of see the pain in him, even when acting it out. But I prefer the practical suit, even if it looked a little cheap. Actually, it didn't look as cheap as I thought it would look.
Oh yeah, no, it's just them tracksuits, man. We gotta get rid of them tracksuits. Right.
But the scene where Mr. Nobody tricks Cyborg into killing his dad, oh man, that was man, amazing TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oof. Well, actually, he didn't kill him, but still, he beat the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought he was dead. I thought he was
dead too. I was like, that's messed up.
But yeah, like I said, like I feel like the Young Justice one is just so over the top that I can't vibe with it. I don't know. Like I was watching that not too long ago, and it's the episode where his dad is just trying to talk to him, and he's like, when as a kid, I try to get you to come to my games, and you never show up. I tell you I need space, and you don't respect it. And he just like is just going off. Like I'm like,
it's like decide what you want, bruh.
I'm like, jeez, like relax.
I feel that.
I don't know.
I mean, like besides Teen Titans Cyborg, do you have like a favorite Cyborg interpretation?
I think similarly it's between Ray Fisher and on Doom Patrol. Like I feel like both
You digging that
are
live
really
action?
good and have some good elements. Yeah, and for nostalgia factor, like the Teen Titans show, like it's good, it's fun, and I we probably spent more time with him than a lot of other iterations.
Most definitely. It's
So
similar like Kevin Conroy's Batman, where he's the one that we've gotten the most of.
right.
And don't get me wrong, I love Kari Payton's interpretation of Cyborg to death. I do think it's lent a lot of, like, I appreciate the 2003 version more than the Go version, because the Go version has
Yeah.
made him way too jokey, and it's kind of like
Yeah, most
ruined
def.
the more hardcore version of him, like you see in Injustice 2, where he's a killer, he don't care about nothing, like he will beat your ass, like it's very intense. But then you go watch Teen Titans Go, and he's like, when I say I want, you say pie, and it's like, wait, there is two different dimensions of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis,
For
do you
sure.
do you have a favorite interpretation of
Uh,
Cyborg?
Mine is definitely Kari and the Booyah! I
gosh.
can't deny that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, and mainly because it's just my first exposure, so it's the most familiar that I have. So anytime I hear his voice, I'm like, oh, that's Cyborg. That's the first thing I always think about.
See, for
It's
me,
definitely just some kind of pattern recognition.
like going back to Young Justice, where like I'm kind of glad they got somebody to like else to voice Cyborg, but at the same time, where like in the span of one scene, because of how like you can tell that they have just like 4 black people or 3 black people on hand. You have Kari Payton voicing Aqualad, Jefferson Pierce, and Silas Stone on the same episode, but and like so
I
it's
noticed that.
so you have it's nice having somebody else voice Cyborg, so it's like there's not that disconnect of just Kari Payton talking to himself in every scene.
Right, getting all upset. Do you all think we sound the same? Hire someone else.
Which, like, hey man, get your paychecks, but like say that with Shamar Moore, collect your checks, but can we get somebody else? Like, I don't know. But granted, like I love Calderon to death. I'm glad he's back in the Aquaman comics now. But like the most recent episode where you have Jefferson arguing with Calder about what's been going on, and it's like, Kari, why are you yelling at yourself?
I did feel it was weird, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" And then I went and looked it up. I was like, "They're doing the same damn voice."
like you couldn't get
Oh,
somebody else to
gosh.
voice Black Lightning. You like something else. Like you couldn't call Cress Williams for like a cameo or something. Like there had to be something you could have done here, my G. Like I don't know. Like isn't Cress Williams doing like some anime right now, or like some Rooster Teeth show? Was there not like it's obvious he has some voice acting experience. You couldn't call him for 5 minutes.
Man,
I don't know. But that like is all we have in terms of Cyborg for you today. Is there any closing thoughts that you all have about this character?
I'd like to see him going forward in all kinds of media. That'd be pretty cool, just to give me a better understanding of the character.
I definitely agree. Honestly, I need another solo title, man. Like if you go read John Semper Jr.'s like the 18 issues, and then like Kevin like voice actor and comic book writer Kevin Grievous wrote a 2-issue arc towards the end before Marv Wolfman took over. It like where Cyborg goes to battle some militia in Africa. It's definitely a very intense 2 issues, and like it shows what Cyborg is capable of, and yet no one wants to like take on the project. And like one topic we can talk about before we wrap up is this perception of Cyborg in the African American community as just the technological dude. Like, is there not really an appeal for him as a character to read his comics? Like, I don't know. I don't really get it.
I mean, I think there's definitely an appeal. I think you just have to have the right team around it.
Right.
to really bring a new take.
Okay. I don't know. Like I thought for a long time the DC Rebirth version where like they were even starting to talk about police brutality on young African Americans where a couple of cops were going to shoot a young kid and Cyborg shows up like, "Hey officers, how's it going?" It was trying to go there and then it couldn't go there because it was cut short and it's very frustrating. So like I need him to get another shot. I feel as if we can build him a decent rogues gallery, if we can stop trying to like go with post-apocalyptic stuff every time we talk about him as a character, like we have to keep his whole like I struggle with man and machine like kind of close, but if we can build him a series that can continue on and similar to Black Lightning, how I want him to have a series that doesn't get canceled. Like, you're on the Justice League. Why don't you have the same immunity as the rest of them to not have your book canceled? Like, I don't know. Like, Aaron, Travis, do you have any thoughts on this?
Honestly, I just want to see more Cyborg, and if it's more of the David F. Walker take on it, personally, I want to know more about the space between the man and the machine rather than man or machine.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
I think some of the most important things, and I'm guilty because I hadn't read the book. I think by the time I found out there was a book, it was already canceled. But I'm guilty of not having read his book or the run with David F. Walker. Now that I know that that's the thing, I'm definitely gonna take a look at that. But like one of the most important things with any like character that you take solo, like he has to have characters surrounding him that are interesting as well. So like who are the folks that will be a part of like his cast of characters? Like who are the people that he hangs around? Who are the other characters that are going to be lifting him up and allowing for him to make some sense of the internal struggles that he's having about his identity and who he is as a human being or a machine. You know, does he have a love interest? Does he have a best friend that does he have a guy in the chair? Is he also kind of the guy in the chair, but like, does he have, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I feel
you
what you're
can't
throwing
just
down.
throw someone out there and not have a cast at all and expect them to do well on their own. Like yes, he is interesting, but like, even Superman has Lois Lane and Perry White and all these other folks that ground him and make him a character that has his own world. Like he needs to have his own world, and like Marcus said, like a good team, writing him and drawing him and having a solid world for him to be in that isn't just this fantastical like multiple dimensions kind of crap. Like he needs something solid.
All right.
Yeah.
I dig
Huh,
it.
I never even thought about the fact he doesn't have a rogues gallery. That throws me right off.
He doesn't like
Yeah.
that. Like they try to throw a few different characters in. Like they have Grid. They try to throw like a Firestorm character at him. Like they were trying to do more with him, but then they keep cutting him short before he can grow. Like they keep trying to create these interdimensional or time displaced like villains that are robotic from post apocalyptic worlds, and it's like we need more. We need more for him, whether it be like either someone who hates technology or someone who's trying to hack him. We need more. Now, I will say there was like this cool like rat based villain they were trying to create for a hot minute, but it didn't work. Like towards the the end of the Semper run, but I do think he needs more as a character. Now, granted, he had a love interest. He's always had a love interest in Sarah, who works at Star Labs. Like ever since his original like perception, and like she keeps coming back in almost every interpretation of Cyborg, but like the whole struggle of like, can I love as a robot? Like it's just.
Is the love in my heart truly beating?
Yeah, like there's that whole dilemma constantly. So hopefully, like now, granted, they were starting to really work on it, and like they even created a little bit of a conflict where like someone else needed the mother box like because they were injured, but then they ended up being a villain. So like, we had like the cyborg girl. and that like, hey, that's a love interest too, like maybe like your partner, but then she ended up being a villain. So there's those kind of dilemmas going on as well. And like there was even like during the mini series during the pre-New 52 that was written for Cyborg. It was like Teen Titans Cyborg. There was a few different characters from like the regions of the Teen Titans gallery that came together to form the Cyborg Revenge Squad. So there is potential to have characters for him. They just need to actually put the time and effort into him as a character. That way not only he's not just a token, but also his own character that can be on his own 2 feet. Like, if they just have him as the hero of Detroit putting in that work, that really could work. Like, I don't know. But we are gonna go ahead and wrap up. Aaron, do you have any closing thoughts for this episode?
I'm glad we had some time to chat about Cyborg, and like I said, like that David F. Walker series, I'm gonna check it out and learn a little bit more. And like I said, I still don't like the Justice Cyborg, but it's okay.
Marcus, do you have any closing thoughts for this episode?
The Teen Titans Go Cyborg favorite.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because
He's a man of culture.
He's for the culture?
He's a man of culture.
He's a man of culture. Okay. Okay. Travis, is that what your closing statement is going to be as well, or do you have a
James
my closing statement to just hear James actually just retch is booyah.
I don't even retch by it. I just like I need there to be like some seriousness occasionally, and everyone's like, no, I don't need there to be like dark and depressingness like the rest of the Snyder trilogy. But I enjoy what happened. Like there's that whole scene in Justice League where Superman flies down and works with Vic to separate the mother boxes. That's a really cool scene. Like it's uplifting and good. And then they have the booyah. Like okay, cool. But like there's still that serious tone of like we gotta put this work in first, and then you can have that booyah. Like there's some work to be had. Like that's what I'm saying. Like is that so wrong?
No,
yes,
no, it's not.
Talk about.
What are you saying, Marcus?
They should talk about waffles and meatballs and all kinds of stuff. And the night begins to shine.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, my closing statement as we go ahead and wrap up is since we are recording on we are live and recording on August 23rd, I will also want to give say that today is Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Across the country, we have this issue where Black women are not making the same amount of money as white men and white women, where you see that 39% of African American women are not paid the same as white men, and 21% of them are not paid as much as white women. So that is an issue that is being talked about as we speak. So please talk about that.
61 cents on every white man's dollar is what Black women make.
Damn.
So that's a problem.
Yes. So this is something that we need to talk about. We need to bring these issues to the forefront. So please, talk to the necessary people to get this dialogue going. And don't one issue that I have is that everyone thinks that whenever there's a black thing going on, that you can't be an ally as a white person. No, you can be an ally, but by being a part of it and not being afraid of getting too political. No, it's not political. It's our existence. So,
bro,
yo, what's up?
No, that was just me. That you go ahead. I was agreeing with you.
My bad. It's just this is our existence. We matter. So definitely, one of the hashtags I keep putting out when we talk about during Black Heroes is Black Heroes Matter. There's this movement that was created that's done at every San Diego Comic-Con is that Black Heroes Matter. Just like in everyday society, Black Lives Matter. So please care about us as a community, but also yourselves, that you are enriching the lives of the people around you. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Blerd Grounds. Follow the website On Comics Ground on Twitter and Instagram at On Comics Ground. We are getting ready to make a full switch away from Twitch and be fully on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. You can find us there now on your mobile devices. You can download our episodes, subscribe to us, rate us on iTunes. Like that way we are easily searchable for people to find us. So please give us a good rating and whatnot. We will be back next week, and we will be talking about Cannon Busters as our main topic. So get ready for that. We will catch you folks next time right here at Blerd Grounds. Bye, y'all.